conversation for world leaders. Misinformation, disinformation, and more importantly, introduce the human layer into AI.
AI is maybe something that proponents of artificial intelligence might not want in there, given that they're moving towards a place where they have general AI, this idea that artificial intelligence can replace humans. But if we're watching a situation today where AI is, and these tools can be manipulated, Banana for Gemini, Google's platform, and Grok now for X. These are real and dangerous situations. If victims today in Jamaica are now dealing with the fallout from someone who has have called this digitally raped them without their consent, made alterations to what they have chosen to share online. What is the
Need to estimate your duty? Perform a track and trace, search for a declaration, then download the
Thanks for joining us for CVM News at noon. It's Monday, January 26, 2026. I'm Amoy Harriet. Up first, the Independent Commission of Investigation, INDECOM, has launched a probe into the fatal shooting of a man by police during an alleged confrontation in Cableton District, Green Island, Hanover, early this morning. The deceased has been identified as Amar Langley, otherwise called Not Nice, who police say was a person of interest in several crimes in the Green Island area. Reports indicated that during an early morning operation, officers came under fire and returned shots, fatally wounding Langley. An illegal firearm and ammunition were reportedly recovered at the scene. Now, murders have fallen sharply in the opening weeks of the new year. Figures released by the Jamaica Constabulary Force show 27 people were killed up to January 24 when compared to 59 in the same period last year, a decline of 54%. Responding to the statistics, State Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Senator Apka Fitz-Henley, said there is no space for complacency. In a statement Sunday, he described the strong start by law enforcement as a reason for optimism, while stressing the need to sustain progress in tackling violent crime.
Well, naturally news that murders are down by 54% this year compared to what transpired in the first few weeks of 2025 is encouraging, but the disposition of the Prime Minister and the National Security Minister is that we are not satisfied. We appreciate that there is no space for complacency, and at all times we are seeking to assess and reassess existing laws with a view of providing better support to the security forces to achieve the overarching goal of protecting the Jamaican citizenry and ensuring that peace reigns across all sections of Jamaica, or as many sections of Jamaica as possible.
Jamaican music legend Sly Dunbar, one half of the iconic duo Sly and Robbie, has died. Dunbar passed away Monday morning at age 73. Widely regarded as one of the most influential drummers and producers in reggae history, his work helped shape the sound of Jamaican music and carried it to global audiences across reggae, dancehall, rock, pop, and hip-hop. Now, tributes have begun pouring in from artists, producers, and fans around the world, recognizing a legacy that spans decades and generations. Chairman of the Tourism Assurance Destination Council and former president of the Negril Chamber of Commerce, Richard Wallace, is appealing to boat operators and boat owners to adhere to the rules and laws governing tourist sightseeing by boats under the Jamaica Tourist Board and the Tourism Ministry. Wallace made the appeal on Friday following a sightseeing boat ride which ended tragically on Tuesday afternoon, claiming the life of 68-year-old Canadian tourist Jean Damore. Damore and two other foreign nationals chartered a tour boat. The boat capsized due to rough weather conditions and Damore drowned. Speaking with CVM News, Mr. Wallace described the incident as unfortunate and warned that boat captains and operators must carefully consider the risks involved before venturing out to sea. Mr. Wallace also emphasized that boat tour operations are a delicate area of the tourism industry, requiring proper training and full compliance with licensing requirements.
People participating get the relevant licensing because what that comes with, as I said, is training. Part of it is training, and what the training does, it doesn't eliminate, but it reduces the number of incidents like this one, because based on the information that I have, this could have been very much avoided if proper training was in place and protocols were followed.
Now, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has announced that repair works on sections of the Savna Lamar Hospital in Westmoreland are expected to be completed by the end of March 2026. The Health Minister says he has received confirmation from the contractors that the original accident and emergency ward should be restored over the next coming week. In the meantime, the field hospital, courtesy of the Bajan government, is being used to accommodate the abundance of patients. Dr. Tufton made the announcement on Friday afternoon following a tour of the facility, which was severely damaged by the hurricane.
We are standing on the site of what was the COVID ward, then the outpatient clinic that was totally destroyed. As you can see, the contractors are on site and the construction has started. Next week, you will see the walls going up. They will complete the designs and you'll see some more active work. The target is for March to complete this facility, and therefore we'll have a new outpatient facility.
President of the People's National Party, Mark Golding, along with Member of Parliament for Western Hanover, Heather Miller-Bennett, and Mayor of Lucy, Sheridan Samuels, have partnered with private donor CM Recycling Company to present a container home to a mother and her 7 children. The presentation was made to Teresa Bennett of the Pell River community. Now, during the handover, Mr. Golding also appealed to other private donors who may be interested in supporting the Love in Action initiative to contribute to the Fix My Roof program. The project, introduced by the Member of Parliament for Western Hanover, is aimed at assisting victims of Hurricane Melissa, particularly with roof repairs. Mr. Golding also criticized the government, describing its response to Hurricane Melissa in Western Jamaica as slow, ineffective, and poorly coordinated.
You know, we've heard what they're planning to do. We heard about them buying a few thousand of these container homes from China that have been ordered, which they haven't yet reached. We were told the end of January before they would arrive, and that the NHT would be distributing most of them, and then a smaller set of them would be distributed as kind of social housing. But of course, people who have been without a home since the 28th of November can't wait. I mean, you know, it's nearly 3 months now, and they're exposed to the elements. Their children are not safe. So, you know, we're so happy that the diaspora and other well-thinking and generous Jamaicans have put their shoulder to the wheel to get some kind of help going. Well,
Now, Jamaica and Ghana are moving to strengthen diplomatic ties. The government is hosting Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa on an official visit aimed at boosting bilateral cooperation. Now, before his departure today, Minister Ablakwa paid a courtesy call to Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness at the office of the Prime Minister. Speaking at a media briefing at the OPM, Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith said the visit is a commanding compliment to diplomacy, signaling deeper Africa-Caribbean relations in areas to include health and emergency response.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, today's bilateral meetings represent an important step in the advancement of Jamaica-Ghana relations. Together, we will explore practical avenues for collaboration in areas critical to national development, which were already identified in previous exchanges. Both countries have expressed a clear interest in strengthening cooperation in the areas of health, education, culture, tourism, defense cooperation, emergency response management, and trade and investment.
It is against this backdrop of friendship, kinship, and deep connections that Ghana instinctively undertook donation of relief items and the deployment of the Ghana Army Engineer Reconstruction Team to Jamaica on the onslaught of Hurricane Melissa. Today's engagement offers a valuable opportunity to reaffirm our progress, reflect on the trajectory of our partnership, and explore new avenues of cooperation that align with the strategic priorities of our two governments.
And it's time now for a break, but stay with us. Our live interview comes up next.
Employers, once a month, you have the power to shape Jamaica's future. By paying your hard 3% contribution, you're not just contributing, you're investing in people, in skills, in our economy. Your hard contribution trains working-age Jamaicans, aligns programs with workforce needs, and secures our future. That's not just contribution, it's transformation. Contribute to heart and to your future. Hi, I'm Landy. Welcome to NLA Connect, the National Land Agency's customer engagement platform. NLA Connect is a simple, user-friendly platform designed to help you share your feedback, get support, and updates about land-related matters. Available 24/7, NLA Connect allows you to share suggestions, comments, and commendations, submit queries and report issues, attach files with your requests, track requests and get real-time status updates, connect with NLA client engagement officers, and provide feedback on the service received via the platform. We're making it easier for you to connect with us. You can access NLA Connect via our website, using the kiosk at any of our offices, or scanning the QR code displayed at our locations. Need any help along the way? Check out our FAQs section. It has all the answers you need in one location. NLA Connect, your voice, our priority.
Welcome back to CVM News at Noon. Questions are being raised this afternoon over how transparent Jamaica's oil exploration process really is. CEO of the Jamaica Environment Trust, Teresa Rodriguez Moody, is questioning whether the public is being given enough information as offshore exploration moves ahead. She now joins us via Zoom to break down those concerns and what they could mean for communities, the environment, and Jamaica's climate commitments. Good afternoon, Mrs. Moody.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me.
So you've raised concerns about transparency. What exactly is missing from the oil exploration process right now?
Well, it's a wider conversation. It's not just about transparency. It's about whether or not this is the path for Jamaica. This is the tail end of Hurricane Melissa, and Hurricane Melissa has been the intensity of Hurricane Melissa was directly linked to climate change, a warmer ocean as a result of the burning of fossil fuels. Is this the direction in which Jamaica really needs to be going at this point? And the fact is that the answer, in my opinion, in JET's view, is no. This is not where we should be putting our effort. Yes, we do need to have development choices. We do need development. We have real development challenges but choosing oil in the middle of a worsening climate crisis is not exactly the approach that we should be taking.
I want to talk more about that climate crisis in a while, but first, Jet attended the United Oil and Gas's third stakeholder session where the company discussed the next phase of its ongoing oil exploration activities in Jamaican waters. What stood out to you coming out of that session?
Well, what really stood out to us, apart from what I just mentioned, was this whole part about grievance. So when you have an issue, so there's a grievance mechanism that was supposed to be in place. And what we found interesting was when we asked for the grievance mechanism, we were told that we'd have to check with the fisheries division, and they were a part of the drafting of this mechanism, which really and truly should be independently done of a state agency, because the state agency needs to be the one to review a grievance to make sure everything is done appropriately. I couldn't say how exactly it was done, but those were some thoughts that came to mind immediately. Secondly, when you do a grievance mechanism, it is not just a document that is just to be there. It is a process by which the community, if they have a concern, if they have a challenge, they should be able to know what are the methods that are available to them to file a grievance, to file a complaint. They should have access to their different approaches. Okay, so I have filed a complaint. What's next? How are you going to handle my complaint? How will this be handled by the company? How will it be handled by the government? At what point am I able to file an appeal, for example, if I don't like the decision that was made? They've indicated that the impacts are going to be minimal. No worry, we shouldn't be concerned. But the fact is, anything that involves interacting with the environment has potential in this way, has the potential to cause negative impacts, and therefore all stakeholders need to be fully aware of how they can file their grievances and the kind of process in which and how it will be managed.
So you warned about continued investment in fossil fuels. Is it that you believe Jamaica should be moving away from oil and gas at this point?
Well, I definitely think that it has to be. I mean, this is what all small island developing states are going to the Conference of the Parties every November to talk about. This is what our minister went to talk about, that we are dealing with the climate crisis because of fossil fuel, because of the continuous burning of fossil fuel and the slow transition to renewable energy. We should not therefore be investing in fossil fuel to support our development. So it's a significant contradiction. We are facing the impacts. Jamaica is one of the most vulnerable countries. We're the section of the hemisphere that is the most vulnerable to climate change, to the climate crisis, and therefore turning around and investing in the same thing that has caused the climate crisis is a bit of a contradiction, and so we really need to be looking in a totally opposite direction.
So what information should the government and oil companies be presenting to the public at this time that you believe they aren't?
I frankly think that if the government is going to be standing up in an international stage and talking about needing financing to support the impacts of the climate crisis, then we should not be supporting contracts that are allowing for investment in exploration, in any form of exploration, even at its early stage. I think we should, what they say, let sleeping dogs lie. So even if we don't know how much oil we may have potentially, and that's the point of these explorations, to see there might be some oil, how much is there? Do we really want to go in this direction? And I'm suggesting that we say no, and instead turn our eyes towards having more projects that are focused on renewable energy and putting more inviting private sector investment to look at renewable energy, making renewable energy more affordable. We saw that renewable energy played a very important role in having people continue after Hurricane Melissa, and therefore this is something that we should be placing more of our energy, our time and energy, and government contracts on.
So the government has this commitment to move to full renewable energy by 2030. Do you see this as being an achievable goal based on where we are right now with the use of fossil fuels?
Now, by 2030, I don't think the government said full. I think there was a percentage mix in there. And I think that we still have a long way to go. And so we do definitely need to have further investment, put in place further incentives to allow for this. Private sector to get involved. So yes, it has to be driven by government contracts as well. I think OUR would have to be involved and so forth, but we definitely need to incentivize people also to allow for it to become more affordable. Because even if I wanted to go fully solar, for example, it's not cheap. It's not very, and of course the grid, our electric grid, for example, is really set up for oil and gas. And so if we're going to make this commitment, and if we really are committed to changing and having a greater mix of renewables, then we need to be making that decision to move away from the fossil fuel by allowing other systems to become more established. And eventually it will become cheaper, but not further investing in a grid system, in a system that we know